Hallo und willkommen zu Lektion 15 von German with Jaxx. Heute lernen wir Adjektivendungen. Hello and welcome to lesson 15 of German with Jaxx. Today we're going to learn about adjective endings, because I promised you that last lesson because we were using adjectives for how to describe ourselves. So I promised you we would go over some of the endings in this lesson just to give you a better understanding. Okay, so how do we work out adjective endings in German? Well, when an adjective comes before a noun in German, it is generally inflected or declined, which means it's a grammatical term which means that the ending changes, the word is declined. So there's an ending change when an adjective comes before a noun in German. And the ending that the adjective takes depends on the gender and the case of the noun. For the purposes of this lesson, we're going to be looking at nouns in the nominative case, which is the most common case. It's the first person in German. So when using a definite article, which is the in English, or der, die, or das in German, all singular adjectives end with an E in all genders in the nominative case. For example, the neuter word for the, das, gives us das rote Buch. The masculine word der gives us der kleine Hund. And the feminine word die gives us die blaue Tasche. If you focus on the top row of this table with the definite articles, you will see in the nominative that each adjective ends with E. It's the same adjective that is used each time, net. It becomes nette in the nominative with each gender. Just focus on the top row of this table. I'll give you a little while to look at it. You'll also notice from that table that the definite article for plurals in the nominative is die, no matter the gender of the singular noun. And in this case, the adjective ending is always en. Let's move on to indefinite articles, which in English is a. In German, the words are ein or eine. So when using an indefinite article, the adjective takes the last letter of the definite article of the noun. For example, der, die, or das. Okay, so let's look at some examples. We have ein kleiner Mann, which means a short man. Man is masculine, so note the R ending like in der. So it would be der Mann. Let's look at the feminine. We would have eine kleine Frau, which is a short woman. Frau is feminine, it's a woman. And note the E ending like in die, so it would be die Frau. Okay. However, for a neuter word, we also add an E. Therefore, the neuter ending with an indefinite article is es. The neuter word for a is still ein. So we would have ein kleines Mädchen, which is a little girl. Ein kleines Mädchen. Because girl is gender neutral in German. It is das Mädchen. I'll give you some time to look at the table of indefinite and possessive articles. If you again focus on the top row, you will see the adjective endings, the ER, E and ES. I'll give you some time to look at that. As you'll see from the table, again, for plurals used with an indefinite article, the adjective ending is en. Let's move on and look at the endings that we use when there are no articles, like in the sentences we had in our last lesson. When there are no articles preceding your adjective, the adjective takes on an ending according to the gender of the noun they are describing. Okay, so let's look at an example. One of the sentences we said in our last lesson was, I have brown hair, which is Ich habe braune Haare. Haare is feminine, so we look at the endings of feminine nouns used in the nominative. The ending is E, therefore we add an E to brown to give us braune. Ich habe braune Haare. When talking about their hair, Germans use both Haare, the plural, and Haar, which is singular. Both are accepted. I think Haare is more widely used. However, when they're talking about curly hair, they use the singular Haar, and Haar in German is neuter, so it's das Haar. So when saying you have curly hair, you would say Ich habe lockiges Haar. Ich habe lockiges Haar. Lockig takes on the das ending, so it is lockiges. Let's have a look at the table for the endings that are used when no article is present. Again, focus on the top row, the nominative case. You'll see the R, E and ES endings. As you can see from the table, in the nominative, the plural adjective ending is E. For example, Ich habe blaue Augen. Augen is plural, that's eyes. However, it is blaue Augen and not blauen Augen when there is no article present. So it is Ich habe blaue Augen. The same rule applies when using more than one adjective with no article. You use the gender of the word that they are describing to determine their ending in the nominative. For example, Ich habe lange braune Haare. So they are feminine. Haare is feminine. So lange and braune have feminine endings. And the rest of that sentence is und grüne Augen, which is plural. And because there's no article, it also has an E ending. So the whole sentence, Ich habe lange braune Haare und grüne Augen. Let's look at our next sentence. Because we're using lockig here, notice that we use Haar. So the sentence is Ich habe kurzes, blondes, lockiges Haar. So note the singular form is used in this case. It's used with lockig. Remember that the singular har is neuter. So it's a das word. So we have the das ending on all of our adjectives. Let's take a look at one more example. This one is Ich habe lange, glatte Haare. Again, Haare is feminine, so we have the feminine E endings on lange and glatte. Ich habe lange, glatte Haare. Okay, that's us come to the end of this week's lesson. This has been a little bit more of an in-depth lesson. This is a grammar lesson. Don't worry too much if you're not getting this. This will be explained in more depth within my courses, should you wish to take my courses, which will be launching soon. If you want to register your interest for that, drop a wee comment on the video. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Thanks guys, auf Wiedersehen, tschüss.